Hey there, Punch It listeners. I just want to give you a quick heads up that when we made this episode, I didn't realize that my recorder was using my computer's internal mic as opposed to my awesome microphone like I'm using right now. So even though the audio quality isn't quite up to spec from what you would normally expect out of a Punch It episode, we hope the quality of content is what will get you through on this one. So please enjoy, and as always, we appreciate your feedback and comments, so please keep those coming.
Welcome to the Nerd Party.
Maximum warp. Punch it. Punch it.
Punch it, Bishop!
Punch it. Punch that shit! Let's punch it.
Hello, everybody at home, and welcome. This is Punch It Writing in Star Trek. I am your co-host, Tristan Riddell, and with me, as always, is...
Charlene Schmidt.
Charlene Schmidt. Just like 5 minutes ago, we came up with this idea, and this is a holy crap kind of idea. This is a lot of fun. This is going to be a lot of fun, and this is going to be really out there and really hard to do, and you guys are going to witness it from the get-go, because we have no plans other than the idea itself. So you're going to see it unfold from 0 to 60.
That's right, live to tape, baby. But is it really going to be that hard? Is it because we're just kind of following the path that we made in the last episode? We're going to do a movie.
We're going to do a movie, and that's the thing, is that like the last episode we did with a movie, because what we did was we took... Remind me? I'm blanking on the names.
We put the TNG crew into the framework of Star Trek 4 and made it work.
That's right. Oh my gosh. I was just like, yeah, it was a lot of fun. What the hell was it? No, it was, yes, the TNG crew in the voyage home. And it was so much fun. We got a lot of great responses from it. A lot of people were like, holy, like, this is a great idea. This was a lot of fun. And so we're just like, let's just keep going with it.
Oh,
and
man.
So,
yeah. We had a good time. We're glad everybody else had a good time. So let's do more while we're hot and ready to do more.
Exactly. That is exactly what I was thinking too. So the idea that we came up with no further ado, was Star Trek 09, as in the first Kelvin universe movie, but with the Voyager cast.
Yeah.
That's a crazy idea.
This is intriguing because there's more variables in this, I think.
Way more variables.
Timeline?
Way more.
Yeah. So we're going to take these characters, put them into the framework of this movie in this universe, and see what happens. How is it different? What are we going to do?
Well, that's the question, actually. Is it going to be in the Kelvin universe, or is it going to be in the Prime universe? Are we going to use Kelvin counterparts to the Voyager crew, or are we going to use Prime? Because we could... There's so many different things that we could do.
Yeah, okay. We have more options than I even realized. Yes. Are we going to have Kelvinized crew members? Wait.
I love that term.
Have we done this?
We haven't done this, but what we did long ago, not on this show, but longtime listeners and people who followed us over from Trek.fm's To the Journey, we came up with an episode. I don't remember a thing about it, but the only reason why I remember it is because Aaron, our good friend Aaron, he did a graphic. He designed what Voyager would look like if it was in the Kelvin universe.
Okay.
And what we did an episode of what would Voyager look like if it was in the Kelvin universe. But this is very different. Not very different, but it's different. Yeah,
okay. I knew we did something with the Kelvin universe, but we've created so many universes over the years that, again, I have no idea what we said in that episode at all. I have no idea what we constructed.
It was so long ago.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and I can barely remember what happened yesterday. I think there was some football game on or something. I don't know. I don't even care.
Side note, there was an individual, this happened a while back, but it's happened a couple of times where, see, the thing is when we do a show, whether it's years ago or just a couple months ago, these episodes last forever. Like, these are, you can listen to them at any time. You could listen to episode 1, you could listen to episode 190, either yesterday or 3 years ago, whenever it was. But the thing is, though, is that like in every single episode, we say, send us an email, find us on social media. And there was a guy, bless his heart, he was just a fan. He tweeted me and he said, he's like, hey, in episode 57 of To the Journey, you said blah, blah, blah. And I was wondering why you admitted that instead of going in this direction. And I said, I was like, dude, I'm really sorry, but that was literally 4 years ago. I have no idea what you're talking about.
That is the power of the internet coming back to haunt us because, yeah, we have no idea what we said a month ago, much less 4 years ago. And it's out there. And a lot of people do go into the back catalog and say, hey, I am just starting To the Journey, or I just finished my listen through of To the Journey, and thank you so much for all the content, which is awesome. I'm so glad people are out there and still listening to it. But guys, yes, seriously, please don't expect us to remember every detail because we don't go back and listen to it. It's not nearly as fresh in our heads as it is in yours. And we do this every week. We create something new every week.
But we will try to answer you if we can.
Abso-fraggantly, because we do appreciate the feedback. We really do. We enjoy the interaction.
And speaking of which, if you do want to email us, like so many of you do, what you can do is go to thenerdparty.com/contact, select Punch It from the drop-down menu, fill out the form. It'll send us an email right to our doorstep. You can also find us on social media. You can do that by going to thenerdparty.com or just searching for The Nerd Party on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. We're all over the place. You can also find us personally on Twitter. You can find me at The Insane Robin.
And you can find me at Oh the Profanity.
And if you really like what we're doing, if you're having a good time, please consider giving us a review on Apple Podcasts. You can give us any kind of review you want, but if you give us a 5-star written review, we will mention you on the show.
Speaking of which, we have
one
from the UK iTunes store. Yes,
Well, here we go.
Yeah, so let me pull this up real quick.
Fantastic. Yes, thank you so much. And that's one thing is that we do subscribe to a service, while you're bringing that up, we do subscribe to a service that has kind of brings in all of the reviews from all over the world, because it's very hard to get a review from the country that you're not in. And so sometimes we miss it, sometimes it doesn't sneak through. So if you do give us a review, screenshot it and send us an email, or just send us an email saying, hey, look for this in this store. But please read that review from the individual in the UK.
You got it. So it's from Kirsty, and this is back from December 2018. So this is from our service. It takes a little while for it to come through and give us this information, but here is what Kirsty said. This show is a real treat. I'm so glad to have found something that explores Trek and writing. Tristan and Shar are fabulous, and their chemistry is amazing. Oh, thank you. So far, I have enjoyed everything, especially the Voyager ones. I loved Mr. Janeway's Restaurant so much. Please keep up the great job, guys. Mr. Janeway's Restaurant is one of our most downloaded episodes.
It was and is and continues to be so. We really struck a chord with that one.
I think it's all about the title, baby. Mr. Janeway's Restaurant. People just like that. They click and they say, yes, give me some of that.
Because it has so many words in it, you're just like, what the hell does this mean?
And if you're a Voyager fan, you want to know instantly who is Mr. Janeway.
Absolutely. And so that was a lot of fun. And thank you so much for writing that review. And thank you so much for the 5 stars. It really does help us out. It helps us on the rankings. It helps us get more listeners and get noticed more. And it's great validation for what we do for free every single week. So with this idea, let's go ahead and start at the beginning. Let's kind of fine tune this. So there's a couple of different options that we can do. We can take the framework of Star Trek 09 and apply it to the Prime universe with Prime Voyager characters, or we can take Star Trek 09 in the Kelvin universe with Kelvin Voyager counterparts in the 24th century.
Right. This is a tough decision. Do you have a leaning one way or the other?
Well, I feel like it would be very easy to make a Kelvin universe movie with the Voyager crew if they're Kelvin counterparts. We can basically say and do whatever the hell we want because it's an alternate universe. Would it be fun? Yes. But I feel like it might be more fun to try to put the Kelvin framework of Star Trek 09 to canon characters in the canon Prime timeline.
You know, I agree. I think that is, I don't know, I'm leaning more that way. I feel like that is the better challenge for whatever reason. Maybe I just want structure in my life. I think that's more the case. So we're going to take our Prime characters and make them go through the events of Star Trek 09.
Yes, and this is something that, like, I love Star Trek 09. Like, we are not Kelvin haters on this podcast. We have our dislikes and we have our concerns. Like, like I didn't like Star Trek Into Darkness at all, but I've grown to accept that has happened. But I'm not going to go to someone on Twitter and say you're an idiot for not liking for liking Star Trek Into Darkness.
Star Trek fan community, sometimes you're so disappointing. I mean, we all have our honest reviews, but people who are just bashing elements of Star Trek just because they want to stir the pot or they must spread their hate, just knock it off, guys. It's so, I don't know, I'm so tired of it.
It's exhausting, and that does not exist on this show. So if you hate the Kelvin universe and you can't stand anything about it, this is not the episode for you. So tune into all of our other episodes that do not feature the Kelvin universe, but this one will. So Kelvin storyline in the Prime universe using Prime characters. How will this be possible? So we have to, I think, in order to kind of figure out what time it is in the universe, kind of depends on which way we want to go. The first thing that pops into my head is instead of Pike, we have Admiral Paris. Instead of Kirk, we have Janeway.
Right? Is the mentor to a younger Janeway, I presume?
That's one way to do it. Do we make it a young Janeway? But then how, if we make it a young Janeway, how do we get in everybody else into the universe? Because she doesn't meet if we stay canon, she doesn't meet all of these people until, the events of the Caretaker.
Yeah, this is true. So then, I mean, is this a Voyager that's not in the Delta Quadrant?
So that would mean that would have to be post-Endgame, right? So what if, what if it's post-Endgame, but the roles are reversed, where instead of Admiral Paris as a stand-in for Pike, Admiral Janeway is a stand-in for Pike, and she's recruiting someone else to take over for something.
Oh, that's even better. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. This is going to be weird. This is going to get different.
This got a lot more different much more quickly than I thought it would already. Okay, so Admiral Janeway is mentoring somebody in the future.
Oh, okay. What if we have... Okay, so we come up with some sort of storyline. I feel like we need... Do we need the USS Intrepid? Do we need to take it out of mothballs? Or is there like the Voyager A, like the 74656A, something like that?
I kind of am digging the A. Yeah. Let's...
Okay.
With maybe a young Miral Paris.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
You knew I was going there, but we've got to. We've got
100%. We
also,
have to.
There must be a cadet Naomi Wildman.
100%. 100%. I think... I think...
You know what this is? This is Voyager,
What?
The Next Generation.
This is Voyager, The Next Generation.
But
this
I am not ashamed. I am not sad. And I don't care if you don't like it.
This turned so hard, so fast, and I love it.
Oh my God, the power of creation, people.
So here's the thing. We have to decide here, because according to the timeline and Naomi and her age and everything like that, she would be, if she was in Starfleet, she'd be more than a cadet. So
What if?
What if? Oh, you said what if first, so you go for it.
Okay, well, you know how Bones is a little older than Kirk in the Kelvin timeline? Well, Naomi is older than Miral, obviously. What if, for one, Naomi didn't necessarily go into Starfleet right away, thus delaying her entrance? But also, what if she goes into medicine? What if she wants to become a doctor?
Love it.
So then, she has to go through medical school, which is going to take a little while, but then does her Starfleet training. And then that is why she is also in the academy along with Miral.
Counter idea.
Okay, do it.
Because I do love that idea, and you can totally say, no, Tristan, that's stupid. I want to do mine. What if instead of making Naomi analogous to Bones, what if Naomi is analogous to Spock, where she's already she's already graduated from the academy, she's awesome, she's in line to, she's going to be the first officer of Voyager A.
Okay.
And thus is the drama between Naomi and Miral, where Miral is like this hotshot up-and-comer who is gunning like who is like just a super genius, has the history, and
But
like
likes to
that
get
way
drunk and get into bar fights.
but like yeah, likes to get drunk and get into bar fights and everything like that. So she needs pruning, she needs grooming, and with Naomi, like that has some sort of resentment. She's always had a special connection with Admiral Janeway, but so is Morale. But like Naomi has stayed in touch with Janeway, and so she's the Spock. She's the one who follows the rules, who was the quote unquote captain's assistant. She's the one who like makes the test for Kobayashi Maru, the new version, and so that way, what we could do with Bones, and hear me out, is older, wiser, and everything like that, a little more cantankerous. What if it's just the Doc?
Still?
The EMH. It is still him. And he comes out for one last job, and he decides to stay. And so he is the chief medical officer
Oh my
again.
gosh, he's still there. Wow, it would be kind of fun just to see what he has done in the time since with his life.
Mm-hmm.
And then why is he there? Maybe there's some sort of special reason for him, or maybe it's just pure nostalgia.
That's what I'm thinking, like to have a nostalgic hook, to keep it there, like to have somebody grounded in Voyager A of a face that we have seen a lot before, besides just the kids.
Okay, I like your idea of making Naomi analogous to Spock a lot better than Bones. So let's go with that.
Okay, cool.
That makes a lot of sense because she's always been, I can envision her being the good girl who followed the rules, stayed in her lane, did what she was asked to do, was always ready to take one for Starfleet, that sort of thing. So that way she could advance her career, do whatever it took. And then here comes this crazy, freaky Morale who's ready to just take everything from under her feet and just, excuse me, no.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that like in the Kelvin universe and with Spock, he constantly says, "I have no ego to bruise, so it's okay if you become captain and everything like that." That's not going to be the case with Naomi. She's half human. She's not half Vulcan. She's half human, half Qatarian, full-blooded emotion. Yeah. And so she does have an ego to bruise. She does have ambition.
Yes, and so these two are just, I think, but between the two of them, they're just going to be massive hotheads. It's starting out anyway. Now, eventually there's going to have to be some sort of respect forged between the two, but starting out, they're going to hate each other.
Absolutely. It's going to be weird.
Yeah.
And it's going to be crazy, and
especially for us as an audience, because we're going to sort of kind of know these characters a little bit. We're going to recognize who they are, even though these are their adult selves. And so we're going to naturally want them to get along, but they're not going to.
No, they are not, at least not at first. And so I think let's kind of frame this up a little bit. We got the meat of it right there for the intro. So with that, the opening of Star Trek 09 was so unique, so fantastic, just a beautiful hook. It was one of my favorite things about the movie was the intro.
Same.
And so I think with that, one thing that would be interesting is, so we have no idea, like, okay, of course, we have the books, we have the novels and everything like that.
Yeah.
I am completely disregarding that because I'm only going by what we've seen on screen.
Fair enough.
So with Voyager, what if we did take something where the intro of Voyager wasn't put to pasture? It wasn't shut down. It was a good ship. They realized, we can still use this. Just because it was 7 years in the Delta Quadrant doesn't mean it needs to be mothballed or anything like that. So they put it back into service.
Okay. And give it a refit?
Yeah, give it a refit, something like that. And say that some of the original crew stayed on board. Admiral Paris did not. Or maybe she did. Hell, maybe she did. Maybe somehow she made it her flagship in a fleet. Like she was a fleet admiral or something like that. And what if it got destroyed during an incursion with Nero? Or maybe it's not Nero, it's somebody else. Like maybe it's a Delta Quadrant species come back from the dead to enact revenge. And it destroys Voyager, and only some of the crew gets off board. Maybe Morale and Naomi or maybe Naomi was actually on the ship as a cadet, and Morale was off planet, but Tom and B'Elanna were on the ship, and they died.
Ooh. I think, I'm not sure exactly time frame-wise where we are at. How old are Naomi and Morale?
I think it would be like a couple years after Endgame.
Okay. Okay, I can see this then. Because then we want the trauma, essentially. That the
Right.
same kind of trauma that Kirk went through where we need Morale. If Morale's going to lose one or both of her parents, it has to happen at a young age. It's got to be a deep scar. Hate to say it.
So what if instead of having Naomi on it, because Naomi wouldn't be old enough to be a cadet if we wanted to make it young.
No. No, and I feel like after Voyager got back home, Samantha Wildman would not be the one to stay on Voyager.
No, I think what if maybe this was the refit of Voyager, and it was being supervised by B'Elanna and Tom, because that's who you would want to supervise the refit, and so they were out for the maiden voyage of the refit, and maybe Admiral Paris, it was just a ceremonial thing, like Admiral Paris is sending it off, kind of like mixing just a little bit of generations there, and,
right? The proverbial trip around the block sort of thing.
Yeah,
It's
that
supposed
kind
to
of
be really easygoing, laid back, and then guess what?
Yeah, so we kind of mix in some generations into Star Trek 09, and they bring on Morale, like say that she's actually there. Would that be too much, or?
Oh, no, I don't think so. If Tom and B'Elanna are on the ship to send her off and test her out, that sort of thing, it makes sense to me that their child is with them.
Okay, so I like this idea. So Admiral Janeway is at the helm, not the helm, but like in the captain's chair, just as a ceremony. Maybe the new captain was like, maybe Chakotay was going to take it over. Like, this is my time to be captain. And Tom and B'Elanna are there. And I want to say Harry's off because I would like to see him pop up again later on.
Sounds like a good idea. Yeah.
And something happens where, do you want to say like there's some Delta Quadrant species, like maybe it's like what happens? Like how do they get there? What species do you think pops back?
Let's decide. Okay, top candidates: the Herosian.
Ooh, good one.
Anorax. A little timey-wimey.
That would bring in the timey-wimey stuff.
It would. So that's a possibility. The Malon, not so much.
No, I don't like the Malon. I love the idea of the Herosian because it's very physical. It's very cool. It's very violent.
They would be the ones to go after them too.
I think it would definitely be a revenge thing. With Anorax, I liked that being closed. I liked that storyline being over and done with. Yeah. Although, do we continue with the timeline incursion aspect of Star Trek 09? Can we? I don't know if we can.
Well,
I think we kind of have to remove that whole separate timeline thing.
We might have to, yeah.
Which some people are saying, like, how can you do that? Because that's the whole point of Star Trek 09. I think we can with this story.
Well, yeah. We're not consulting with J.J. Abrams. We can do whatever the heck we want.
I believe so.
So,
okay.
For simplicity's sake, let's not do the timey-wimey stuff.
So no timey-wimey stuff. Herosian, somehow they, maybe they're just like, as we know from the show, they were kind of killing their hunting ground and they needed to expand. And what if they developed slipstream technology or transwarp technology because they're like, we need to go farther to hunt further and hunt better. And they're like, oh, by the way, since we have the slipstream technology, let's go kill those Starfleet bastards for what they did to us.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, that also ties into the whole revenge aspect that Nero had. Nero wanted Spock to pay for the pain that he endured.
Right.
So,
right.
It's very simplistic and it's very two-dimensional for the enemy to feel that way. The comic books, of course, did a much better job of fleshing Nero out. But if we're going straight forward with on canon, what's on screen, the Herosian are perfect for that just because it makes sense for them to want revenge that simply. Because, well, by the way, let's hunt them down. Let's go get them.
Yeah, and I know that we kind of closed the book on the Herosian, like with the whole, holographic storyline and everything like that. But I feel like there's always something that you can do. And I don't want to say something specific because it's been a while since I've seen it. But let's just say something. They want revenge for something.
Right. Something turned, and even though Voyager is long gone from the Delta Quadrant, they have not forgotten.
Right, and they're still pissed about something.
Now, one question I've got.
Go for it.
We're going to have Tuvok be analogous to old Spock, correct?
I don't know. I mean, I think that's a great idea.
We have not talked about that yet. How is he going to fit into this, and what did he do to the Herosian that pissed them off so much to make the Herosian go after Voyager? Or is it not that personal with Tuvok?
Oh, okay. So now that we're talking, okay, like my head was still in trying to figure out like Morale, Tom, and B'Elanna.
I think we covered that, though.
So, well, with the incursion though, like with the Herosian popping out, we got to come up with a reason as to, like, we just have the revenge ploy with them coming a couple years after Endgame. We also have to give a reason as to why they waited so long. Like, do we say, like, okay, the Herosian, after they get away and the escape pods get away and everything like that, they were so close to Klingon space. Maybe maybe we keep that from the Star Trek 09 storyline where the Klingons capture them because they're like, these are great hunters with great techniques. We want to learn from them forcibly if we have to.
Ooh, okay, that's a nice little wrench in things. Sure.
So we'll keep that storyline. So that's why, like, they're hell-bent on revenge. They got a little bit of it by destroying the refit, but they wanted to we could say, like, they want to kill all the members of the Voyager crew and their ancestors, or like, and their offspring. And so maybe it's not specific to Tuvok himself, but Tuvok pops up in order to help. We can tie it to him. So I think that's how it goes. Like, the refit, like, maybe like Chakotay sacrifices the ship in order to get other people away because he's the captain.
Right.
Or he was going to be, and Admiral Paris was just there. But we have this touching moment between Chakotay and not Paris, I'm sorry, Chakotay and Janeway, and he forces Janeway into an escape pod or something like that. Oh
my gosh. So Chakotay is going to give his life, because I just had this flash of a moment where Lieutenant Harry Kim, Chakotay says to Kim, "You're captain now, Lieutenant Kim," and it's Harry who has to go down with the ship because he's the whipping boy.
Oh.
He always wanted, like, you know, it's that ambition, and then he goes down with the ship, and we all cry, and
I think that's kind of how it would have to be.
Well, with the framework, right? Yeah.
What if instead? Hear me out. Because it has to be Chakotay who goes over to see the Herosian. Like,
yes.
He's the captain, like because Admiral Paris, I keep saying Paris, I'm sorry. Admiral Janeway says, like, okay, no, I'm going to go over. They want to speak to me. And Chakotay's like, sorry, it's my ship. And she's like, well, I am an admiral. I got to take over this. It's my responsibility. And Chakotay, you know, like, maybe he cites some reference in some Federation law, some Starfleet regulation says, like, in this time of blah, 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 the captain has sole discretion over the blah, 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 blah. And so he ends up going, and Janeway has to stay behind. He says to Tuvok, you're the captain now. And so all the things happen. Hear me out. You can totally tell me no.
Okay.
Tuvok's there. Harry Kim is there. But because Tuvok was going to be the first officer, maybe, he says, like, Tuvok, you're the captain now. And Chakotay dies on the Herosian ship the same way that Captain Rabot dies. And Tuvok is the one that sacrifices himself, and he makes it so that Lieutenant Harry gets Admiral Janeway off the ship. He says, he's like, you do this no matter what, and get her off the ship.
Okay, I want to reject it. I don't see Tuvok. Actually, I don't even see Tuvok on the ship at this point. I do see Tuvok on Vulcan, which would explain why they go to Vulcan and destroy Vulcan.
I think that's a much better forethought. Okay, so I was just trying to not have Harry die.
I'm sorry. I have nothing against Harry. I love Harry Kim. I love Garrett Wang even more. And I want him to go down in a blaze of glory. I mean, I know as an actor, if we could get Garrett Wang to do it, I mean, he would have the gravitas. He could make it happen. Think about Timeless, people. You give him good material, the guy can't act. So, yeah, it just struck me that Tuvok going down with the ship, no.
You're right.
No, it's Chakotay kicking Janeway out from not only not going over to the ship, but also getting her ass into an escape pod. His final act of love.
Right.
And then Harry thrust into the position of captain, because it strikes me that he would be the first officer. Anyway, Tuvok, no.
What? Okay, I think you're right. What if we change some things here?
Okay.
So what if Janeway is the one who actually does sacrifice herself by going down with the ship, and Lieutenant Harry in this time frame is the one that takes Morale, because we could have that touching moment later on where he witnesses Tom and B'Elanna die, and so he takes Morale to a shuttle bay, and he becomes the Pike stand-in instead of Janeway.
Oh, okay. I hate it, but that's kind of an interesting idea too. So you don't necessarily want Janeway guiding Morale and Naomi.
It's Harry.
Harry's playing mentor / daddy.
Yes. And this way we get Janeway going down with Voyager, the original Voyager.
Going down with the ship, because that does fit her so much. Oh, dang it, Tristan. I hate this. I hate it, but we've got to go with it. We do.
I feel like we have to, and then that way with Chakotay gone, she's just like,
well, what does it even matter anymore?
Like
my love is gone. I'll go down too.
Yeah. Exactly, that kind of thing. Yeah. So maybe we have Harry raise Morale, but he doesn't do a good job.
Because he doesn't know what he's doing.
Because he doesn't know what he's doing, and so he tries to reconnect with her.
And Morale?
And then bring her.
My God. Okay, sorry, gotta interrupt.
Yeah.
She's driving one of her dad's old classic cars.
A Camaro.
A Camaro with a Nokia phone.
Like, this is it. This is how we have it.
God.
Yeah.
Okay. This must happen now. Okay, this is the way it is. This is the way it is.
So this is the way it is.
Sabotage
and
playing in the background. It's so
Sabotage
good.
is playing.
Oh, yeah.
And so she kind of, maybe she blames Harry for not saving Tom and B'Elanna in the explosion.
Resentment.
Or maybe she just has a crap relationship. They disconnect for years, and he finds her. He's like he's now a high rank, not a high ranking, but he's a captain. He's going to get his own ship.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's had his own ship before, and so they're giving him the Voyager A. And he says the Voyager A is being built. Mm-hmm. And he's like, this is going to be better than a Sovereign class. This is going to be better than a Prometheus class. This is going to be the flagship. This is going to be better than the Enterprise E or Enterprise F or whatever timeline we're in.
Yeah, wherever we're at that point, yeah.
Because, I think Morale has to be, 18 to 21, somewhere around in there to make sense.
Agreed. Yep.
And so we're 15 years later, 16 years later, because Morale would be 2.
Right.
When her parents died.
Yeah.
And so it takes a long time to build because it's going to be just this uber fantastic huge ship, and Harry Kim is going to be the captain. And so he reconnects with her, finds her in a bar, and says, listen, your parents are amazing. They helped save the ship in engineering. They did it together. They saved your life. They saved my life. They saved everybody else's lives. So did Janeway and Chakotay, and they all loved you. And so please join Starfleet. You are too smart to be fighting in bars.
I dare you to do better.
I dare you to do better.
That's such a good line. Oh, I love that.
I know. It's amazing. It's perfect.
Side note, as much as I love Anson Mount's Pike in Discovery, Bruce Greenwood in the Kelvinverse movies, also top freaking notch.
Bruce Greenwood was pretty special. I mean, he's even in the intro of this podcast.
That's right. He is. Anson Mount, I'm telling you, you need to say punch it at least once so we can add it to our intro. Please, please, please make that happen.
So I think, okay, there we go. So it follows along. Morale kind of locks horns with Naomi, who's already a decorated graduate, who is on her way to be the first officer of Voyager A. And we get some new characters coming in.
We're going to have to.
Where Morale, instead of having Uhura as the communications officer... Oh, is Naomi dating someone? Like Spock was dating Uhura?
Right. Ooh. I think it's got to be a completely new person, somebody we do not know.
So I think so. I think someone we do not know.
Yeah.
And so that way we can do the whole thing where Morale is getting busy with someone like the roommate of Naomi's love interest. So we can keep that scene, but
green?
Just gender swap it. Yeah, maybe make him or her green, and just kind of move that around the same way.
Yeah, I dig.
And so that all plays out the same way.
Oh, also,
Instead of
Moral beating the Kobayashi Maru by cheating. We've got to have that hearing where those two lock eyes for the first time, like, ooh, you son of a...
Yeah, that would be perfect because instead of Moral not knowing who Naomi is, she knows who Naomi is.
Uh-huh. Like, oh, you?
And, like, yeah, we were born on the same ship.
Yeah.
And, you know, like we were, you know, like we have, there's a lot of family connections and maybe there was some sort of resentment or like maybe Harry has always had a great relationship with Naomi and not with Moral. And so Moral resents Naomi for that.
Yeah, that's where I was going is I think there's a lot of resentment where Moral is sort of in a self-fulfilling prophecy at this point in her life where she's always been considered, you know, the quote-unquote bad girl because of her Klingon side, because she has a temper, that sort of a thing. And so she has lived up to the part where she's gotten herself into trouble every now and then, whereas Naomi has always been the praised good girl, and so they hate each other. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Naomi doesn't hate Moral, but she's judging Moral, and that's just as bad.
And maybe Naomi pities Moral.
Right.
And that's even worse for her.
Knowing that Moral has tons of potential, it's just she's not going to live up to it if she doesn't straighten out.
But she doesn't put up with her crap. She doesn't let it
Heck no.
get in the way of her duties.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
there's a lot of friction.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's established. That's set up. We have in this new character in replace of Uhura. So how does the Doc play in? Do we still do the Doc? Maybe he's the he has a soft spot for Moral. Like he kind of lets her get away with everything. They've kept in contact.
I think so. I mean, I think that's got to be the connection where he's the one that she can turn to, the one person who will hear her out, see where she's coming from, let her get her point across. They have that special relationship, unlike her and Harry. And so he is going to smuggle her onto the ship, basically.
And we have that mandatory scene where he's like, I delivered you. I have responsibility towards you. If you're not going to talk with Harry, at least you can talk with me. And so, yeah, smuggles are on the ship and everything like that.
Numb
Same
tongue,
thing that happens. I'm the
hands.
chief medical officer. Yeah. Yeah. The same with the hands and everything like that. Yeah. Perfect.
Great. Okay, so that happens with that. So they're going to investigate Vulcan and what is going on here. And so they are on a mission essentially to rescue Tuvok, primarily.
Well, the Hirogen break out of the Klingon prison just like Nero did, and their ships are ridiculous. You like maybe we keep that whole because according to the comics, the Nero stole Borg technology and it amped up his mining ship, and that would explain why it was so freaking powerful. What if we keep that storyline but with Hirogen? So the Hirogen have amped up Borg amplified ships, and that's why it's taking care of stuff. And so I think in this version, Tuvok is there, and the entire reason why they're targeting Vulcan is just to get Tuvok. That is how crazy it is.
Yeah, but they are so overboard and over the top in their actions. They're not just going to destroy him, they're going to destroy his whole family, and, hey, while we're at it, the whole freaking planet.
Like, yeah, that's the thing. Like, maybe instead of using the red matter or MacGuffin, they just raise the atmosphere of the planet, or they just bombard it with photon torpedoes and phasers and everything like that, destroying cities.
Yeah, or, I mean, with the whole mining aspect, since Nero was like a miner and that sort of a thing, the Hirogen, not having a whole lot of resources in the Alpha Quadrant at this point, are just going to mine Vulcan to death and destroy it in the process really quick.
Do we need to keep the mining aspect, though? Because the Hirogens aren't miners. I mean, they're hunters, so...
Yeah, I mean, it's just a thought.
Yeah, I think... I think what we can just say they screw over Vulcan. Like
just going to ravage the surface so that it's not habitable. How about that?
And maybe, they do take resources as much as they can, and they make it inhabitable for at least a long time, if not forever.
Yeah.
And it's all because Tuvok was there.
Yeah, okay, I like it.
And so, same thing happens. Like, they send the fleet because they don't know why it's happening. They don't understand that it was the Hirogen. Oh, they know that it's the Hirogen, but they're just like, they thought they were missing. They thought they were gone. And maybe like the Klingon version of Section 31 didn't let them know that they had the Hirogen. That's why political avenues fell flat, and they didn't even know that they were missing. They thought they were destroyed. And so everything happens how it does. And so who dies to make Naomi emotionally compromised? Seven was with Tuvok on Vulcan because she's there for some reason.
Oh, yep, that's going to hurt so much. But it's got to be her. Yeah, because they've got a special relationship. That's the person.
Yeah, that's the person. And so Tuvok survives. Seven doesn't. Because Seven is with Tuvok because of the Daystem Institute for exchange of ideas or something, whatever.
Yeah.
And because Tuvok and Seven had a great relationship. And so Naomi goes to save Tuvok and save Seven.
Yeah.
In the same way that Spock tries to save his parents.
Yep.
And so Seven, like, it happens the exact same way. And that's how it gets Naomi to be emotionally compromised.
Oh, God. And then that ultimately...
So we're just knocking off people left and right from the Voyager crew.
Oh my God, we're killing off more people in this episode than I think we ever have. At least in one single one.
I feel like Game of Thrones episode.
Dang, so much death, so much pain. But that has to work because then once Naomi acknowledges that she's emotionally compromised, then Morale can step in, she can lead him out of it, and then she can destroy the Herosian, essentially. She can pull that whole "I got your gun" line.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I got your gun.
You did that so much better than I did.
I think we can continue to that. So Tuvok and Seven are on the planet. So that's replacing the parents. So that's kind of, instead of we're kind of going back on our word by making Tuvok the Spock character. Do we keep the Spock Prime character? Because without the timey-wimey stuff, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. Well, dang it. I see your point. Do we need a future Naomi or something?
No,
I don't want to go there either. No. Forget I said that.
Because in the movie, that was one criticism of mine, is that like sending Chris Pine, Kirk, to that planet to find Prime Spock and then find Scotty and get him back on the ship using transwarp beaming felt very forced to me. Very forced.
Yeah, we can skip that. It doesn't make enough sense.
I think we can cut that.
Yeah, no. We don't need it.
I really do. I think we can really just go towards the scene where Morale, like maybe Naomi's making questionable decisions, like she's not thinking clearly because, like Pike. Oh, wait, we completely forgot like about how, Pike got captured. So in this, we need to have Harry get captured by the Herosian for the same reasons.
Yeah, got to go after him.
He's got to go after him. He's got to have the access codes, and Harry but they don't kill Harry right away because they know that he's a captain, and so he has the codes, and so that's why they torture him instead of killing him, so that they can destroy Earth because that's the birthplace of the Starfleet that screwed them over in the Delta Quadrant.
Right.
And so we have the whole skydiving thing. Maybe.
Oh,
we
sure.
got to keep the skydiving thing.
Why not?
Yeah.
We've got that whole thing. Yeah, and Morale's gonna go after Harry, aka Pike.
And so we have a new Sulu, like
Sure.
it's like it's just a different character who then becomes a member of the new Voyager crew.
Yeah.
So whoever that character is, somebody dies, a red shirt dies.
Yeah, don't even care.
Don't even care. And then I think that's like Naomi gets distressed because, Seven and Tuvok are gone.
Yep.
She gets really upset. And so that's how Morale tricks her into exposing, she goes heated. She's just like, she knows intimate details about her because they've known each other for so long. She goes after it.
Yeah.
And that's how Morale becomes the captain of Voyager A.
Well, and I think to justify Morale kind of going after Naomi on that front, we have to realize that Naomi is going to turn more than one head with her questionable decision-making, where it's not just Morale seeing it, so then that way Morale is justified in taking over.
It has to be justified. It has to be, because we cannot hate Morale for this.
No. No, she has to be right.
I think later on we have to show Naomi where she's just like, no, I made a stupid decision. I put lives at risk. I'm lucky to keep my first officer spot. I have no business being captain at this point. You saw through that. You showed leadership that I didn't. And so I'd be happy to command this ship with you. So that kind of thing.
Yep, that's how they're going to ultimately come back together as peaceful allies rather than at each other's throats. Where she realizes that Morale, for all of her weaknesses, is going to... she makes Naomi better. They work well as a team. And so Naomi's going to see that.
I think it works, and the movie basically plays out the exact same way.
Yeah.
Except with our characters swapped over, Harry Kim winds up in a wheelchair, sadly, and he gets promoted to admiral, and so he doesn't get to captain the Voyager A, but he passes it on to two people he knows and trusts and loves.
There we go. That's a movie. We did it.
There you go. Man, that went crazy. That went in totally different directions than I expected.
That was wild. This was a lot of fun, though. I want us to keep doing these movies. There's just so much potential in this.
So great. So much fun. And please, guys, let us know what you thought of this movie swap, and if you would have done anything differently, or if you liked any particular aspects that we talked about, or if we forgot anything, just like, oh, you forgot this scene, or what would you do in this scene, or maybe we could continue this crew into Star Trek Into Darkness. Oh, that's what we need to do next week. That is what we need to do next week.
Okay, there it is.
All right. Well, there you go, folks. Please go to thenerdparty.com for all of our back episodes and how to communicate with us. And next week, we know what we're going to do. We're going to do Star Trek Into Darkness, Voyager style, and we are going to punch it.
Ready for warp, sir. Let's punch it.
Join the revolution. Join the Nerd Party.